Now by former lead impeachment manager, Congressman from California, Adam Schiff, the intelligence chair. Thanks very much for being with us, Congressman. First of all, 2 impeachments, the same closing argument. Why doesn't it seem to be resonating with Senate Republicans?
Well, look, it's going to require courage on the part of these Senate Republicans. President Trump demonstrated through his 4 years in office the ability to punish anyone who strayed out of line. And that certainly had an impact in the last trial. Only Mitt Romney demonstrated the courage to, I think, follow the constitutional oath and follow the evidence. I would hope that with the backdrop now of the last trial and seeing just how sadly true those predictions were, that senators would realize they've got a real duty here to protect the country that they cannot look away from. Because I don't think any of us can question if he runs again in 4 years. They may hope that he doesn't, but if he does, who for a moment would believe that he wouldn't try to cheat again, that he wouldn't put us through this again, that he wouldn't inflame people, incite people again? And so you're right. It's the same argument from a year ago, but now even more compelling because we've seen what's happened in the last year.
When you were Jamie Raskin hasn't technically given the closing argument yet. And when you were getting ready for your closing argument, I assume you knew that it was an uphill battle, that you at that point, you kind of had an idea. We'd heard from enough senators. Did it at all impact your close and what you included in there? Did you think to yourself, I'm not speaking to the senators anymore. I've got to speak to the public. And if so, then what would your advice be to Mr. Raskin?
Well, Chuck, what I used to say to the managers last year is, remember, we're talking to the 4 and the 40 million. The 4 senators we thought had an open mind. The 40 million Americans we thought had not decided yet about this president. I think the trial this year is being tried to the 17 and the 17 million, maybe the only 17 million left who haven't made a decision about the president in the country. But you are trying the case to both juries. Here, I think there has been a much more realistic prospect of conviction because the facts are so plain, so obvious, so simple. We had to tell a story that began half a world away, that was complicated, and we were fighting administration that was withholding all evidence. Here, the evidence is so plain for everyone to see. And, of course, there's the history of the last year, all of the lies, all of the agitation, incitement, division, the efforts to meddle in Georgia. But yes, you're trying it to both audiences. I think at that point, we hoped, as I indicated, that we might win over a single Republican who would say enough, that a single person of courage makes a majority. And Mitt Romney did. And I hope that we get those 17 because otherwise, sadly, we can expect we may see the same thing in 4 years.
Congressman, you would need, as you pointed out, 16 other Mitt Romneys. You just characterized the evidence, plain, obvious, and simple. And it should be noted that some of the evidence is not even in dispute. But the reality is that it's an uphill climb. You know that. We all know that. If there is an acquittal this time, Congressman Schiff, should that be the end of the matter for Congress?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, and I think that right now, all of us in the caucus who are supporting our House managers want to keep the focus on the next few days because we have to hope and pray that the senators do the right thing, and if they don't, they'll have to answer to history. If they don't, then we will have the specter of Donald Trump hanging over this country and agitating for years to come. And that will be singularly destructive. So I don't know the answer to that, what comes after the trial. Right now, I think all our eyes are on these senators. And I am encouraged to hear what Senator Cassidy said. I'm encouraged to hear what Senator Thune said. I'm encouraged that Mitch McConnell is saying this is a vote of conscience. And Mitch McConnell was not one of the 3 to be collaborating with the defense team. Last year, you might remember Mitch McConnell said he was not an impartial juror, that he was going to be working hand in hand with the White House. So some things have changed, and I just have to hope they've changed enough.
Congressman, as chair of the Intelligence Committee, obviously you've got another portfolio, a major portfolio. There was testimony yesterday that after Nancy Pelosi's office was ransacked and a laptop taken, that there could be a foreign intelligence component to this, and that there could be even foreign intelligence activists, operatives involved in all of this. What is your suspicion about this?
Well, I think probably the paramount concern, and of course we are worried about the security of information that may have been stolen. But the paramount concern is, was there any foreign role in the agitation, in the amplification of this violence on the 6th? But also going forward, how do foreign powers exploit the divisions they saw so clearly on January 6th? How do they use it to further rile people up? We knew and had been warning for months prior to the election that Russia, among others, was seeking to stoke divisions, but also amplifying the president's false claims about the election being stolen. And to the degree that foreign powers want to remain engaged, they've got millions of Americans who still believe the president's lies, and they can still help by amplifying those lies, help in the sense of help divide and weaken America. And that really is probably my paramount concern.
Partisanship has been a huge problem on the intelligence on the House side in your committee, mostly thanks to Mr. Nunes. I'm curious, how is the atmosphere right now? And is there a way to get HPSCI back out of this period that we were in during the Trump era?
I certainly hope so, and I'm going to make every effort, Chuck, to reach out, as difficult as that will be, because we need to get our work done. Now, we did get our intelligence authorization bill done this year, notwithstanding all the difficulties, and we've done that every year. But I would like to get back to some level of comity on the committee. But I have to tell you, the broad discussions within the Democratic conference about how do we work with these members who, even after the insurrection, were back on the floor, back pushing out the big lie. And it's very difficult to sit down with these members knowing that they contributed to what we went through. But I'm going to put my hand out to Mr. Nunes. I hope that he takes it, that we can move forward with the business of the nation, because the work of that committee is just too important to stagnate.
Congressman Adam Schiff of California. Congressman, thank you. Thanks for your time, sir.